What is up, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, giving you commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Thank you guys so much for joining. If you have not seen it already, be sure to check out my review of last night's Raw on Netflix, the first episode premiere. And it was a great night, but I still am amazed that the fans booed Hulk Hogan. ET Entertainment News Entertainment Tonight talked about it 7 hours ago, but they booed Hulk Hogan. I know I mentioned it earlier, but did I mention that fans booed Hulk Hogan? Sorry, C Nation, I don't mean to be offensive, but they booed Hulk Hogan. I got a couple ideas why, but I'm not going to get into it. But let's talk about tonight's episode of NXT. First of all, I found it very ironic that the first three matches of NXT tonight all involved the women. The first match saw Giulia defeat Roxanne Perez to win the NXT Women's Championship. Congratulations, Giulia. We knew it was going to happen. We saw a fatal four-way match for the number one contender shot to the Women's North American Championship. 3 out of 4 of those women were baby faces. Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, and of course Stephanie Valkyr. And of course, one of the only heels of that match was Cora Jade, who interfered in the first match, but it went against her intentions. Of course, the match was won by Stephanie Valkyr, who will face Shotzi Blackheart next week to see who is the undisputed contender for the Women's North American Championship. Because, of course, in the third women's match in a row, Shotzi, who was part of a 6-women's tag team match with the trio of herself, Gigi, and Tatum Paxley, faced Fatal Influence, pinning the main star, who is the champion, Fallon Henley. On the men's side, Lexus King won the UK trophy tonight. However, Lexus King, I'm going to be honest with you. There's two things I want to bring up. First and foremost, Lexus King reminds me a lot of a modern day Chris Jericho. He really does. He doesn't even remind me of the loose cannon, God rest his soul. But he reminds me more so of Chris Jericho. And I think whether he wants to be like his father or not, Lexus King is going to go back, is going to become just the way he doesn't want to be. In the script, he's trying to be better than his father. But I believe, from a kayfabe standpoint, that Lexus King is going to give in. And with that accidental headbutt to the groin earlier tonight, it's just building up for Lexus King to be what is already inside of him, which is just like his loose cannon father, God rest his soul. Tonight, Eddie Thorp, Trick Williams, and Obafemi had a triple threat match. And to be honest with you, I said to myself, I thought that with Eddie Thorpe being attacked, this time Eddie Thorpe was attacked. And this is why, for those of us who grew up, we probably heard the story of the boy who cried wolf. And of course, Eddie Thorpe is the victim of that same scenario. You kept lying about it actually being a wolf. And so now, when the wolf is actually there to eat the meat off your behind, nobody believes you because you done lied too much. Stop telling so many lies. Speaking of lies, I think that's probably why that's part of the reason I think fans booed Hulk Hogan, because of the background story surrounding The Undertaker. And I think that's just part of it. I don't know, but I'm sure they have a good reason. And I know the Iron Sheik was in heaven. Just if it was possible, with all due respect, if it was possible to eat popcorn in heaven, Iron Sheik was eating popcorn while smiling as fans booed Hulk Hogan. A lot of people said that, and I think they might have a point. Moving forward, we had a triple threat match, which was really a singles match because, much like Raw, Oba Family versus Trick Williams was a dream match to me, just like CM Punk versus Seth Rollins yesterday was a dream match to me that happened early. And tonight the match wasn't bad. Obviously, Eddie Thorpe got involved eventually, but he didn't get a chance to do much because eventually Oba Family would go for the fall from Grace Powerbomb. One, two, three. Oba Family is the new NXT champion. And I told you, Oba Family was a future NXT champion. And if fate has its way, Oba's going to be champion for a very long time. Of course, we have The Rock showing up to NXT to thank the crowd and thank the fans. I thought The Rock was coming to NXT to kick Eddie Thorpe's butt for that accident that happened to Ava Rain. However, tonight we saw The Rock come in, thank the crowd, and I think there's only one thing. You see, NXT has had a lot of great special appearances. We've seen Cena appear. We've seen The Undertaker appear. We've seen The Rock appear. We've seen Randy Orton appear. The only person, AJ Styles, the only person left to come to NXT would be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Once we get that, I think the NXT Legends bucket list will be crossed. Nonetheless, it was great to see The Rock on NXT. Congratulations, Giulia and Obafemi. The ruler is now the ruler of NXT, and The Rock showed up and had a hilarious segment with Ethan Page. And I can't wait to see Javon Evans return. By the way, it was great to see Corey Graves on NXT commentary tonight. Although for the first match, he could barely get a word in because Booker T was over talking him for a little bit. But it was great to have Corey Graves here on NXT. How is it going? And by the way, it's Corey, not Vic. Booker T kept messing everyone up because he got Corey mixed up with Vic. Vic Joseph is one, Corey Graves is the other. He's used to talking to Vic, so those things happen. But I still thought the commentary was a bit hilarious from that standpoint. It took Corey Graves a second to get a word in, but nonetheless, pretty good episode of NXT. Great to have The Rock. I'm your host, Daniel Cody. That's all that I have for you today, and I'll be back with another review on all things wrestling. Have a great week, everyone.